Okay, so I'm going to do a video covering what I've learned buying, ordering, and building an motor around these cylinder heads for what I'm doing. Nitrous big block, new nitrous big block, and this is going to be built over this winter for the season 2022. Now, there's not a ton of info out there, and there's a lot of confusing info, and I see it in all the big block groups right now. So we're going to cover these cylinder heads and the valve sizes and all that. Yes, you can run these on small bore motors. That's what I'm doing here. You can run this on a 439 bore all the way up to the 4.44 80 over bores. I'm doing a 4.42. CNC combustion chambers, as you can see here. We got a 170 exhaust valve. That's Kazi's valve. This is a slightly lighter intake valve from Charlie Evans. I ordered everything from Charlie as a package. I also got a trick flow Mafia from him, fully worked, top carb pan all the way down, and it was worth the money. I feel at this point, because we should make some really good power with these. Had the exhaust sides fully worked all the way through and flowed. I didn't flow the intake side because Charlie had enough stuff going on. Now you'll see there's no floor work there. Somebody's commented on one of the pictures the other day, oh, you touched the floors and you ruin it, da 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 da. The floors aren't touched. Look, it was slightly gasket matched. That was it. To the intake gaskets. And Charlie provided for me. I got everything from Charlie, heads, intake gaskets, a stud kit that he makes. He explained the install. I'll make a video when I assemble the motor showing how to do that, and also fitting the China wall spacers. Learned a couple tricks with that. These heads flow really well on the intake side. That's why we didn't do much. You can cut the guide back just a hair and gain a bunch of CFM too. I don't know how much. You talk to Charlie, you talk to the porters on that stuff. But I want to cover, these are the upgrade springs, the blue stripe with the titanium retainers, good locks. Look at that mounting pad for the rockers. These are huge. Regular rocker studs work on these fine. You don't need a shaft rocker. I'm only going to be spending this thing $775 max. So, yeah. They have a 2.375 intake valve, and they come with the 170 steep angle exhaust valve or a 176 regular angle exhaust valve. That is for the big stuff. Yes, you can run this on a 500 cubic inch motor all the way up to like 632. These things really shine with the large exhaust valve on 598 to 632 cubic inch engines. Yes, and they work really well on smaller displacements when set up correctly and cammed correctly. Now I got a pretty wild cam, 285, 298. A spring that a cam that works within the spring measurements. You don't mind my dirty garage here, but I just want everybody to see these. For the best light, I'll turn it around this time. Show the intake runner again. As you can see, it's just a gasket match and slightly worked. Valve guide bosses trim back. Bowl blended. Combustion chambers were smooth. No, I'm not going to chamfer these open and soften the chambers on this, because I'm not going to be spraying a megaton of nitrous at this thing. So I'll do that later when I build a big motor to take a lot of nitrous. But this is some of the stuff I learned with the Kazi sr71s, boys. And as I build the motor over this winter, I will cover more things. Fitment, piston and valve clearance. I have custom pistons for the setup. They have exhaust valve release in them as well. For all the lift and duration is in this camshaft. You have to run a dual pattern camshaft with forward heads because the exhaust side, it's what, 60% difference between the intake flow and exhaust flow, so a dual pattern camshaft is a kind of a must for these. So yes, I was building something serious, and we got a serious piece going together for these. I'll show the intake in another video if there's enough. I can show the port work on that too. These bosses are just great. Plenty of meat in this head. These chambers are just excellent. But I wanted to do a video covering this stuff because it seems a lot of confusing info out there. So, hope everyone enjoys. I'll be doing more videos on big block Ford stuff and, of course, the sr71s with the Trick Flow Mafia intake. Follow along, stay tuned to the channel. I'll be covering a lot of other stuff this too because I'm building a couple other things for other people as well.